And we are back. Unfortunately, Australian internet was not kind to us just then. I'm pretty happy to say that it was pretty nice to us up until this point. That's the first kind of fizzle we've had. I'm pretty proud of that. I think we've done everything we can to make this as smooth as possible. I mean, some of the first streams Diffie and I did were absolute schmozzles, so this is actually going pretty well by our standards, and by Australian internet standards. So we're back on. We're back live. Which game do we want to jump into? I've got to. So we should jump. We should jump.
And I am back from the fridge.
Fridge privilege. Well done. So that's what we did, guys. We actually just pulled the plug ourselves because we wanted a fridge break. You just get too much to it for us. We're going to jump into the Jay and Hansen game because I feel like that thing's about to be over, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's the place. Yep, I would say that's the place. There's not much left going on there, and that's where we were when it wrapped up. So we'll have a quick go into the scores going onto this transition screen. So it's looking at 40-14 currently in favour of Liam. So probably no need to go too in depth on that. But Adam, why don't you tell us what you're seeing on the table, mate? Give us some of your beautiful commentary that we love.
Still 2 units of possessed sitting hard here. Looks like he's lost. He's down to 4 left on 1 unit, and Celeste did the job on those 2 blade guard. Looks like we've already had the Space Marine's turn. 3 Plasma Inceptors might have been able to shoot and cut down that unit of possessed down to its 4-man the 4 men that we have left. Now, what's interesting to see here is that the shield captain, so not the shield captain, I call him a shield captain but he's a better shield captain. The captain on bike, the chapter master, or wherever he is that Jay Hansen has, did get picked up last turn. He must have dogpiled that in to one of those squads. Didn't do much damage. Maybe just chucked it in there to try and hold him down. But unfortunately has been picked up. All that's left for Jay is 1 unit of 3 blade guard. Look like in the top left-hand corner. That's streaming away, being chased down by Celeste. And 3 plasma receptors that are about to be mulliganed. But what looks to be close to about 12 possessed from 2 squads. What do you think? Man, I mean, we know that Liam has no chill. We know he is incapable of chill. But even for me, this was an absolute game of savagery.
Oh, 100%, man. I think obviously he wants to make amends for what happened in the previous game. He doesn't want to go down anymore, and he is not going to let it just sit by and let fate decide, as Zench did for Matt Morrisoli here. He is going hammer and tong. He is going into the Space Marines and letting him know that he is still the number 1 player in Australia, as he believes he is the master of Australia.
Well, he did win the Masters. I'm not sure in his terms if you say the best player in Australia, but he's definitely up there, man. I'd put him top 5 easily, possibly even top 3. He's just picked up. I think we're just about to see a handshake here momentarily. They didn't even roll out the damage for the 2 possessed units into those Inceptors. He just picked them up. No ifs, no buts. No big issues.
We are seeing Celeste on the top left-hand thing. I think that's probably the best pronunciation you'll get from me today. Celeste is on the top left-hand side, chasing down those blade guards. I just wanted to get that in there before I got it wrong again.
Yeah, dude, thanks very much. You're doing a great job. Closing moments of this game. Dude, this game has gone for less than an hour and 20 minutes. They didn't start on time. A 1 has been picked up by Celeste so far. She has a huge swathe of attacks. She's not very durable, but man, she hits. She absolutely swings for the fences.
Yeah, 100%. So we're getting a bit of a score update here from Liam now. Liam is now on 64. He has moved up to 35 on the primary.
Yeah, geez, that's going into the bottom of his turn, getting up to another 35 on primary. There's nothing that's going to stop him from getting maxed on primary, right? Data Intercept is also going to end up being maxed because he's just going to sit on dominance and have 2 or 3 turns of scoring at the end. Raise the Banners is again going to be maxed, grind them down. He's only going to get 1 more turn to grind them down, which is interesting. So that's going to end on 12 out of a possible 15. Do you think he's happy with that? Or are you sitting there being like, how could I have gotten more points?
Now, not to get into a war with our American friends, but obviously Jay's list is something that we've seen touted as being very popular in the American scene, and we have some wonky lists here. So this Possessed Bomb would be considered a wonky list, but has been able to deal with this Space Marine, with the utter power of this Space Marine list quite easily, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I wouldn't say it's especially easy. This is the most, apart from the Morrisoli game, this is the most possessed I've seen Liam lose. Mm-hmm. And I just see Celeste just lost. The blade guard got Celeste.
He died.
he must have just balled up his 4+ invulnerable save. So maybe he had a cheeky CP for a transhuman left. But man, they're still alive. So there's a job for those possessed left to do. There's not really any way for them to score points, being the last thing he has left, and this being a hold 2 mission. But you go out swinging, especially when you got an hour and 40 minutes left in the damn round.
He definitely has time. You've flown across 2 or 3 states to get here. You're going to play the end of your games, even though you've got to play 8. What are these boys playing? They're playing, 12 games over the over this weekend?
Yeah, well, Jay played one of the Masters games, so he's +1 on this. So he's played 7 games. But man, the mighty Liam Hackett is playing his 9th game of this weekend. That's pretty hectic. He's got 2 more to go.
Just looking in the chat here, this will give us a bit of a chance to talk about our services here. So Anthony Vanella, he's asking, is this top table? So I believe we are probably the only streaming service currently that holds more than 1 table at a time. Is that correct, Adam?
No, there's a couple of others that try. I know Pro Tabletop.
There's a couple of others that are doing it?
Yeah, there's a couple of others. I'm not sure anyone does it as frequently as us, but some of the bigger tournaments do try and showcase 2 or 3 tables at a time. We will, when at all possible, we'll show you a minimum of 3 tables on every single event that is streamed by myself and Nick Standing, under Art of War Down Under, or Art of War. And yeah, that is pretty much our promise to you guys, that the best possible coverage that we can achieve, and always showing multiple tables at a time.
But yeah, so currently we are viewing table 2, and we have the option, and we will do currently. We're staying with this game until it wraps up. This is table 2 of the tournament. We are also streaming currently table 1 and table 3.
Should we switch now? This one's pretty much a foregone conclusion. We can get the scores from the leaderboard momentarily. Which one should we go to? Should we go to the Morosoli game, or should we go to the Black Templars, the Luke vs Gabe game?
Ooh, the people want Luke Pierce, don't they? They want to continue.
Surely they do.
Seeing what those Redemptor Dreadnoughts are doing.
I'm going to intercede and say we go for a couple of minutes on the Soli game, just because I think there's some really, really big things that have happened. Soli, I think he's put his foot on severely on the throat of the Nids, and he's got them quite contained.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, as you can see. Oh, first and foremost, one of the keepers is dead, right?
Yes, it definitely is.
I'm not
either
crazy.
the one that went in originally, I would say the one that's on the left-hand side, that would be the one that is gone. And I'd say the one that we see currently has let go of the Lord of Change Hand, has been slung off by itself there.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's a couple of spore mines in between that and moving up and towards the Barbed Hero Jewel as well. But that unit of Terminators is still there, and I can't see where the other one is. There might be the other one directly above that orange ruin, which I was joking that they were Nurglings before. But yeah, that Exocrine is in a world of hurt. That Barbed Hero Jewel and those, it doesn't look like there's much left for the Nids. Yeah, like what can you see? I see Barbed Hero Jewel, some Warriors, some Gaunts, and the Exos. You reckon there's much else?
That's about it, man. No, I don't think there is. It looks like Soli's doing some spacing out with his cultist there to stop the lifter from coming into his deployment zone. So yeah, there's not a lot left there for the Tyranids. One thing I will point out, is Soli really a true winner of the tournament unless he has participated in the party balcony? I would like to see, at minimum, him shuffle those Nurglings over to the left-hand side and participate in some balcony. I would like to see him on the rooftop, actually.
Yes.
If Soli can claim that rooftop balcony, then I will declare him the winner, and no more games will need to be played.
He will gain the Nick Standing endorsement, Nick Standing stamp of approval. You got to take it. If you're playing on this table, you got to take part in the block party. That's the ruin in the top left-hand corner, which inexplicably sees more action than any other portion of the games when we're calling on this table. We've seen all sorts of wacky and random stuff go down in that little quadrant, especially when there's like no need to be. There's like no objectives and just people just like double moving warp timing characters up there for really no reason that we can fathom.
Absolutely no reason.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The scores are still relatively
All right, so I'll
close,
do a quick.
Yeah, please round up the scores for us.
Yeah, they definitely are. And that's what I was about to say. I'll do a quick brief rundown of the scores here. So we're looking at primary-wise, we're equal. And then secondaries to Matt Morosoli there, Vital Ground is on 4. Engage on all fronts is 5, and Ground them down is on 3. Looking at Shane Condy's scores, Engage on all fronts, he is on 2, Vital Ground on 3, and he has yet to put his deploy scramblers in. So I don't think he would have got it at this stage. I think that is why we're seeing a nice zone out in the deployment zone of Matt Morosoli. And that is currently giving Matt Morosoli a 7-point lead, 27-20.
Well, I think it's no surprise when you see a Lictor that your opponent's going to take scramblers, and he has the ability to hold back. I mean, Beasts have a huge footprint, right? Beast and like 2 units of cultists can block out this entire thing from that Lictor. And I'm of the opinion that if he hasn't got it now, he's not going to get it. This is at least turn 3 for Matt. Possibly we can go into the bottom of turn 3 for Mr. Condy. But yeah, those Terminators, so they came down turn 2, they charged into the Tyrannofex. Maybe they killed it, maybe they did, but there's a couple of other things missing there. There's a Broodlord missing there, and there is a Maliceptor missing there as well. So
Maliceptor?
Yeah, I think another turn has happened, another turn has occurred, because the Keeper got shot down. So those Terminators have had another turn. So this is possibly the turn 3 has been done and completed for Matt Morosoli, and this is his top of turn 4, because he's definitely shooting some bolters right now, isn't he?
Having said that, though, we haven't seen Matt's second unit of Terminators drop at all.
That's correct.
There is some chatter that they may be that unit on that orange building, but I'm pretty certain they are the Nerdlings from the previous game, that base construction they have there.
Yeah. Michael Swain has said, I thought the 60 possessed was the height of possible cancer-causing lists in this event. Matt has now proved me wrong. His list is brutal. It is brutal. It fits Matt like a glove. So Matt is a guy who likes to have opportunities. He likes to take an army that always has opportunities, and he likes to take a maximum durability for his opportunities. And so look what he's invested his points in. Beasts of Nurgle, one of the most defensive per-point units in the game, in existence. Oh, sorry, dude. I'm incorrect. Those Terminators are bubbled up around the Neurothrope. They've wrapped that Neurothrope.
Oh, yes, they have there.
Can you see that?
Bottom left objective there. Yeah, I can, mate.
It just looks like a hole because they're on a blue objective, but that is a Neurothrope that he's bubbled up around there. Yeah, good bit of play there by Matt. So this will be his combat phase coming in to easily pull that guy down. If this is so he's wrapped him. So this is the bottom of turn. So Shane's turn 3 going into the top of turn 4 for Sully, he's going to be able to kill that Neurothrope and then leapfrog into the Exocrine. Or it's quite possible that behind that, it's quite possibly the Bivors and the Hive Guard are behind that ruin, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. That definitely could be the case. I believe the Hive Guard would be in there. That was the deployment zone. I don't think... I mean, it could be the case that they have deployed high up on the left and gone into the block party. We have seen stranger things this weekend, but yeah, I do believe they'll be in that bottom left terrain there.
Yeah, really quite interesting, this game and how it's developed. Please tell your friends and all your mates if they do not know that we are back up and running, if we lost them during the unintended downfall we had momentarily for a couple of minutes. We are back up and running. Got another lovely 40 people in the chat. Please, thank you. Please let it be known that we are very grateful that you've joined us here on your Saturday or Sunday, whatever day may be for you. But dudes, okay, Sully's looking pretty comfortable here. I think we need to go and have a look at the Black Templars game. Our boy Lukey and our man Gabe, see how they're doing. With the Consolidate, I will tell you right now, he has tapped that Exocrine. So maybe this is the top of turn, because I don't think there'd be any reason if he was going into his turn for him to tap that. But dude, transitioning over to this one, what do you see on that scorecard? What can you tell us?
All right, so I will give you this live score updates that we have here. So primary-wise, we are both still on 0, so I believe that would be incorrect, as we are seeing a lot of Drukhari vehicles sitting around on these objectives, and on the left-hand side, we are seeing some Space Marines sitting on some objectives. So while Luke would not be piling up, I believe that Gabe would be piling up some of those primaries. Sorry. So engage on all fronts wides. We have 0 for Gabe. We have 0 on While We Stand, and we have 0 for deploy scramblers. So it could be a case of Gabe just not punching in his scores there. Luke, the People's Champ Pierce, he is on 4 for Oath of Moment, and he's on 2 for Bringing It Down, chasing them up on a 16-10 slight lead to Luke Pierce.
Looking at the table.
So that's obviously a bit swayed. So why don't you give us an actual rundown of the scoreboard there, Adam, and see what more likely is happening?
Yeah, so what I believe has probably happened, I mean, obviously in Luke Pierce's turn 2, which I believe is already underway, he would have controlled possibly the top left and his home objective. He did have a unit of Ravers that Gabe charged into that unit of Infiltrators. Maybe they have been cleared up and he was able to hold that objective, and that's what denied Luke getting his score on primary in his turn 2. In response, he has slung up his Master of Sanctity on bike and also slung up his other unit of Vanguard Veterans. He's cleared off that objective. He's going to be staging from there and diving down into his opponent's lines. We saw him staging behind the line side blocking terrain with his unit of Vanguard Veterans. They have come through. Looks like he did get the Devout push off into those Venoms, by the way, guys. So, for those of you who don't know what Devout push is, it's actually broke as a joke in power. It's the most powerful thing Black Templars have. So for 2 CP, you just get to consolidate. You just get to pile in, essentially. And if you pile into somebody and at the start of the fight phase you're within an inch of them, you get to fight them. So you see that Gabe put up 2 Venoms on the other side of that line side blocking terrain. He'd actually touched that line side blocking terrain to be able to shoot through with his 2 damage Venoms from Dark Technomancers and possibly pick up what it looked like he picked up 3 of those Vanguard Veterans. In response, due to Devout push, he was able to pile in his opponent's turn into those Venoms and kill them both, getting out the contents onto the field, which looks like they're now locked in combat. It was 5 racks, they're now locked in combat with those Vanguard Veterans. They'll be picked up probably in pretty short order. Pretty nice for his opponent that he did that. There's another little broke strategy the Black Templars can do. If they tap you and you try and fall back, they can spend 2 CP and you do not get to fall back. So those racks, if he tapped them, he killed those 2 Venoms, the racks came out, he piled into them, He touched them. For 2 CP, racks can't fall back. Those Vanguard Veterans can't be shot. That could be game losing for Gabe. He could be killing those racks in Gabe's turn and then get a 12-inch move, pick up 1, possibly 2 of those Reapers. And then, man, I'm not sure how Gabe wins from there. But dude, like, Black Templars have so many more levels of jank than people think are available to them. They're like Raven Guard levels of jank, which is actually kind of silly. But I love it.
Yeah, they're a bit of under the radar currently at the moment, aren't they? So we've seen one of those Redemptors come out that's cruised around the building there. We've still got another one that's sitting inside there. I guess he does have firing lanes to both both objectives on the left-hand side of the table. So he still has a bit of protection for his home units there. But it would be good to see Luke get some of those Redemptors out and get some of those macro cannons firing.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not quite sure why he's being so cautious with them. They are pretty much big bully units, and if I was him, I would want the Reapers shooting them rather than shooting the Vanguard Veterans. But admittedly, like, the Vanguard Veterans do have 4-person vulnerable saves, and they can do a bunch of other things that can make the Reaper fire pretty ineffectual. So maybe he's just done a value judgment and been like, okay, I don't actually need the Redemptors to do much to get and be really potent in this game. So maybe I'll just use them as late game pieces and bring them out, turns 3, turns 4, turns 5. Because that's what it looks like. There's one that is still sitting at the back of the board behind the L-shaped ruin, on the blue L-shaped ruin on the bottom left, and one has moved out, and that's probably one that's going to be starting moving up the board and getting some things going. Looks like we've had some racks piling out of one of the Raiders. It could be racks. He has got a unit of 10 witches as well. 10 witches going into these Vanguard Veterans might be the only response Gabe's able to muster, rather than these Vanguard Veterans clearing his racks that couldn't fall back and then getting a huge sling. So maybe he has to dogpile a bunch of units into there to prevent you from doing that. Would you think that's enough? Would you think 10 witches is enough to hold back this tide of Vanguard Veterans?
No, I wouldn't think it is. I think he'd be able to make mincemeat of them in one round, because they're obviously not going to do enough damage coming in. There's a sway of storm shields hanging around these Vanguard vets. Pretty tough. 2 wounds a pop. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do much damage here.
We've had an update on the scores if you want to check those in for us.
Yeah, no worries, man. I can do that for you. So Luke Pearce currently is leading the way, which surprises me a lot, on 15. He has 15 points on the primary, 4 on Oath of Moments, and 2 for Bring It Down, currently giving him a total of 31 up against Gabe Dello and the Jukari, who's on a primary of 5 points, and that is all he currently has. With his battle painted score, he has an 15. So we're seeing Luke Pearce has currently over doubled the score of Gabe Dello. So even though he is not pushing out and touching all different sides of the table there, he is actually in quite the commanding lead.
Agreed. I would like to know which other objective he held in order to get his 15, because there must have been another one, or he was just holding 2 and his opponent wasn't holding enough. We're seeing a reshuffle of the Reapers into the back lines, just getting a repositions to make sure they got the line of sight on things that matter. With that being able to shoot the Vanguard Veterans, this is going to be a hard pill to swallow for Gabe. He might want to just be running away wholesale. Luke has done a really good job. I don't think Gabe has anything to shoot in his turn. I can't see any targets for Gabe.
No, you're definitely right there. But in the same boat, in return, Luke also does not have anything to shoot. So it's almost a bit of a catch-22 there. So yeah. Luke wants to be coming out and trying to get some of those wobbly standpoints. We've seen Gabe to great effect throughout this tournament so far. Guarantee pretty much that he's been able to keep that 15 points. So that's something that we know he's able to do quite well. If those Vanguard Brets can get 3, if they can kill off those witches that they're tied with at the moment, if they can get 3 of them, they are more than capable than picking them off 1 per turn.
Yeah, I would like to point out that the Terminators for Luke have deep struck down behind the Vanguard Veteran. So this Vanguard Veteran, unit that can't be allowed to have free reign, it's going to have to be tied up. They're going to be reinforced by 6 Terminators in the next turn. One of Game's patented plays is deploying his Scourges on top of buildings in order to ensure he gets some protection, and they can score Scramblers, they get engaged on all fronts, and they've got Shredders, so they're actually quite cheap, but still do kind of relevant damage. Shredders, I believe, are Strength 5 -1 and reroll to wound against everything, or maybe just only infantry against them. Liam's just giving me a weird face. I believe his game is done. Should we? I'll quickly get up the leaderboard for you guys. And you have a look at how they came.
While you do that, I'm just going to break off for a sec, Adam, and I'll be back with you shortly.
Yeah, no problems at all, brother. So really commanding, dominant win by Mr. Liam Hackett. That should be coming up for you guys any second now. But dude, like this game. I'm hoping there's no feel bads here, because there are some elements. See, Black Templars are so unknown that you would hate to gotcha people significantly. looks like he got an unknown. He got a win. I'm not quite sure what the points are, though, because it's been cut off. You can't see what it is. Might have to look that up myself, but yeah, definitely a big win. A big win. We can do the math. So he's got 300, 394. What's 394 plus 67? So that's... I've got a message from the lovely Chelsea. Oh, wonderful. She just picked it up for us. He got 100. Liam got a damn 100, guys. Jay Hansen got 14 points to Liam Hackett's 100. Oh,
what did Jay got then? 14 points. Did 14. Jay get 14 points?
He got 14. Ooh. So that's 4 points and battle ready. So in the game, he scored 4 points. Oh my god. Oh wow.
Yeah, that is a crushing victory towards Liam.
Liam, he's just like, dude, I'm doubling down. In fact, I'm going to do a patented Marigold triple down, and no one's going to question my prowess ever again. Watch what I do to this poor boy. That's ridiculous.
So
Liam.
what we're actually probably finding from Liam there, he knows that what the case is now. He is going to have to keep ahead on battle points because Matt Morrisoli and Shane Condi, who both currently have more wins than him. He is well ahead on battle points. So what Liam is hoping there, he's hoping to get as many battle points as he can and keep ahead. And hopefully both Matt and Shane lose a game here. So this is something that we've been talking a lot about submarining through this tournament. But what we might find, if we do not have an undefeated champion over these 8 games, that Liam, while he's dropped one, the fact that he has not even come close to deciding to submarine could actually be in his favour.
Absolutely right. He's more insured to get on the podium. If you are just playing for the podium, take every single point you can, and then hopefully you luck it with the wins. If you are just playing to win it, just take the W's. Whatever W you can get, no matter how big, how small, you just go for it. Interesting call this game. You want to let us know about the update on the scores first before I let you know what I see is happening here?
Yeah, no worries at all. So our number 1 ranked player coming to this game, Matt Morrisoli, he has a primary of 15. Vital ground, he is sitting on 4. Engaged on all fronts, he is on 8. And grind them down on 6, giving him a total of 33. Shane, who is ranked 2nd coming in here, he has a primary of 20. So creeping ahead on the primary there, which is quite interesting. He is on 2 for engage on fronts, 5 for vital ground, and 0 for deploy scramblers, sitting currently at 27. So we know that Shane, one of his there is a late game finish game objective. So that will be coming in late there. Yeah,
for sure. And he's also went 2nd. So, man, he also went 2nd. So he's going to have the last say in this. But unfortunately, if he just doesn't have enough damn units to sit on enough objectives, it doesn't matter that he's got the last turn of scoring. He's not going to be able to do it. Look at where the Lictor is, by the way. Look at where the Lictor is. Can you see him?
The Lictor there. Yes, is he the one perched on the top of the building?
On the corner. He found a way to get scramblers, I think. He found the only way to get scramblers. Yeah, well done. So Matt Much just missed it. I mean, he might have been able to move in advance of Coltis up to be on the top. But yeah, it looks like he just missed that one. So it should be 10 points coming in for scramblers, which might put Shane Condi in the lead. I'm not sure he's going to be able to maintain it. Just because from what I can see, unless he got something in the block party, highly likely, everyone joins the block party. It's going to be Morrisoli holding 3 to his holding 2, and Matt's going to get a 15-point primary in his next turn. So we're just seeing the scores come in for that, actually. He did just get a 15 on the primary. He's gone up to 25 points.
Yes,
sitting on 46 to 27 right now.
Yeah, so actually he's gone up again. So now we're looking at a 49 to 27 in favour of Soli.
Yeah, must have just scored the points for grind them down at the end of the battle round.
Yes.
I do believe that there's a Terminators at the top of the board. They are going to be we'll see in 1 second whether they are. Yes, they are Terminators. They are moving out.
That is correct. They were the Terminators.
He's going to auto-charge them onto those poor Tyranid warriors. He might auto-charge him. He might shoot him down. Either way, he probably does want to auto-charge him. He has taken vital ground, so him holding that objective in his next command phase will score him another point for that. So yeah, he probably does use the auto-charge if he's got the CP to spare. And if you see on top of his home objective, there is a 1 for his CP. So yes, auto-charge, engage. It's such a powerful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. We've just seen that group of warriors become a group of warriors. So their legs will be shaking as those Terminators advance towards them there. So that will be a bit of a drama for them.
Dude, well done. Dude, no, everybody, just a moment for Nick there. That was
If
magnificent.
you want dad jokes, hit the subscribe button. We've got dad jokes for days here.
That's so good. George chiming in. One of the worst things about Ninth Ed right now is that all these builds are going to be dead in like 3 to 6 months as Chaos gets their new Codex books. But dude, how good is it that Chaos gets their new Codex? If they're all as good as the Death Guard, man, it's going to be so nice. You won't have to play all these wonky combo building, big brain metrics, bonkers stuff, and you'll just have things that like are as good as the Space Marine stuff. It would be in a lovely world of balance. Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I will say my opinion on that. That is a beauty of the game. That is one of the things that I love about Warhammer itself. The evolution of the game as it carries on. So what we're playing now might be top tier sort of stuff, but that stuff could soon become trash. And in a couple of months, we're building new lists. We're scheming with our mates. We're coming up with new ideas. That's what's keeping the game hot and fresh. So that is actually one of the things that I love about Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, and George agrees. He thinks the direction of the new books is good.
He definitely.
Look, most of the new books are very moderate, quite restrained on the power curve. I think only the Blood Angels one seems to be kind of off the chain. That's only because what Blood Angels do in 9th edition, which is just absolutely crush. A couple of point adjustments, and Blood Angels don't seem that crazy either. They seem, more on par with what Space Wolves got, which was admittedly not that much. But yeah, what needs to happen though, like honestly, all the 9th Ed codexes are good. What the issue is the holdover codexes from 8th editions. Admittedly, Sisters is a 9th edition codex and it's going to stay really strong. But things like White Scars, Iron Hands, Salamanders, these codexes that were built on the premise of the past Space Marine codex are still consistently being a problem. But we'll see how those pan out over time. They might lose power, and as other things get better and better.
Yeah, that's it. And Tech Priest 9th edition has been fantastic so far. They just need to solve some things like Tower. Yeah, I do agree. Getting rid of Tower would be a definite benefit to the game there. Good point.
I do want to jump back over to our Gabe and Lukey Pierce game because I feel like there is a lot still going on here. I can tell you those Vanguard vets have not fallen back. They have not been removed. They are still there, still imposing their will on this game. The Scourges have dropped into the top. Have we seen any change on the scores, or is that how we left it, mate?
No, that is 100% how we left it, but I'm not sure, like, just from what I'm seeing, I'm not sure if Luke and Gabe are putting in the correct primaries. I thought Gabe would be more likely to be on 15 than what Luke is.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I would have thought it would be the other way around. I'm actually quite confused why that's not it. There is some abilities that Luke has to mess with OBSEC and mess with scoring abilities, things like the Reaver Lieutenant. And that could be something that's playing havoc in his backfield that we can't quite quantify or can't quite see. Either that, or he could have a unit in the bottom right-hand corner on that objective that, is line of sight for us, which would have meant that he did, in fact, get that hold and get that 10-point primary. Yeah, look, Gabe has just charged in. Looks like he's just getting that charge in with that 10-man rack unit. It's either 10 racks or it's 10 witches. I believe they are racks from what I can see from the models. We'd like to know where his witches are. Perhaps, but the thing is, if they are witches, it actually does work quite well because they will be stopping his opponent from falling back. And the issue is, what happens is the Vanguard veterans fall back, pay a CP and pile in, and so it doesn't matter. It's actually quite dumb, unless it has a caveat on it. It's been a while since I read that one, so unless it has a caveat on it that says they can't do it if they fell back, like if a unit hasn't fallen back for 1 CP, they can pile in, because it would be very silly. But if they have Shardent and Payloads, which he does have on his witches, they will be able to deny his fallback anyway, which would be quite a boon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it definitely would. But based on what we were saying previously about the primary scores, I think it must be correct because we're not actually seeing much of a push from Luke. If Luke was behind so much in the primary as we think he is, I think we'd be seeing a bit more of a push, but Luke seems to be holding his own as if he's in a bit of a commanding position there.
Yeah, he is. He's playing quite defensively. He's really, really limiting the firepower from Gabe, which I think is a very good option, seeing as he can really sling things. Like, he has the option to advance and charge with another stratagem. So I think he can sling a little bit better and can sit more defensively. Admittedly, he's had to sacrifice the use of his Redemptors entirely. He hasn't used his Redemptors. I don't think he's even shot him, to my mind. I don't think they can see anything. So he's had to make some sacrifices there. He's playing like 360 odd points down in this game, but it's not mattering because the things he's able to use, he's being able to use the Black Templar stratagems to great effect, has enabled him to just do some really powerful things.
Yeah, it definitely has. And in the chat there, Diffy's asking if Liam has finished. Yes, he has, mate. 100-14 is the score that we've seen there from Liam. So he's really put the foot to the throat there in the final game of the day.
So Michael Swain has just asked, it depends how much you get with the Faith in Fury book. So if that Faith in Fury book's actually been made redundant, it's actually Black Templars actually have an index that gives them all the relevant new strategies now, which pretty much is everything they got in Faith in Fury anyway. So I just kind of broke it out of that book before they annulled it, essentially, and I gave it to you in a nice little pamphlet form. So we're going to have these Vanguard veterans attacking back now. Looks like he's lost maybe 1 or 2 to the attack so far. There's possibility that he's got other attacks coming in, but the Vanguard veterans should be attacking next. I'm of the opinion he attacked with that 10-man unit first. Vanguard veterans go next. Then the racks at the top that he's been engaged with. Some scary things are going to happen next turn, I believe, for Gabe. I think this game is already looking quite bad for him. Those unit of Vanguard vets are either going to get themselves dislodged this turn, or the Terminators are going to come in and guarantee they get dislodged next turn. The Scourges being up and where they are means that the Redemptors that haven't had anything to do have something to do now. And those Vanguard vets in the top left-hand corner are going to jump out of there, charge that Raider, and kill it, possibly tapping in the 9 fallback to anything that comes out of it. This could get pretty rough. I mean, every single one of the... So every vehicle he kills is 1 for Oath of Moment. Well, sorry, the first vehicle he kills is 1 for Oath of Moment. And every subsequent one is worth 1 for Bring It Down and more, depending on how many he kills. So there is a lot of points still on the table here left for both parties. Gabe is looking a bit rough. I hope he was aware of some of the Black Templar stuff. How do you feel about gotchas? You want to talk about gotchas a bit here?
Well, it's a big thing, isn't it? So a lot of people will go through a bit of a pre-routine on their big deal on what the gotchas are, but to me, it's obviously a bit of a skill of the game. So I know personally, I've been out of the game a little bit for a while there, and I came back, and some of the things, while I can still play the game, I think personally just as good as some other people. I don't have the knowledge at the time of first coming back, and a lot of the times I was caught out by a lot of surprising things that units could do. And to me, that's on me. So one of the skills of being good at this game is having a knowledge, reading the books, understanding what all units do. So to me, it's the onus of the player to understand everything, have a good knowledge of the game, and know everything that can catch them out. And getting on that, if you don't want to have gotchas, probably one of the best things to do is listen to your man and my man yourself, Adam Camilleri, on the Art of War Down Under podcast. Adam, why don't you give us a bit of a rundown on the services that you and the other Art of War team members provide?
You're just doing my job for me, man. I can just pack up and go home. This is sick. But just a quick update on Art of War. So Art of War is a holistic 40k service in everything to help you and assist you become the player that you want to be. There's a new bundle deal for all 3 subscriptions for a $36 price point. You get both Art of War podcasts, that being the one run by myself, which is primarily a review and dissection of content podcast, in addition to the Nick Nanavati and John Damaris podcast, which is talking with top players about top lists that are being successful. And in addition to that, for the $36, you also get access to the War Room. So every week, the Art of War team publishes 2 podcasts, the one for myself and, of course, the one I already said. And then every week, let me just get to the War Room. So, and every week you also get access to members-only Facebook page and Discord channels where you can discuss your thoughts with like-minded individuals, and also the coaches from which you will be receiving coaching from, if that's a service you please. 5 online 140k classes per week taught by the expert coaches at Art of War. 1 weekly meta-analysis video going over the most recent tournament results and upcoming releases, and a weekly streamed coaching game where it's 2 top-level players playing top-level lists, focusing on their strategies, their tactics, and their theories. So if you're at all interested in that, go to theartofwar40k.com and get involved. If that is something you're interested in, please jump in, get involved. I'd love to have you be part of our community. It is very much something that I feel privileged and honored to be a part of. It really is. It really does feel like the upper echelons of this game, and there's a community that is both very healthy and very vibrant.
Yeah, that's it, mate. It's not just about people winning games either. It's just a bunch of people helping each other out, making sure that everyone has good games. And just on that, what I'm going to do, Adam, is I'm going to ask you, why do you think Luke Pierce is keeping that bike captain on the top left-hand side of that ruin? So we haven't seen any action, any play from that bike captain there. What do you think he's doing with that?
Yeah, so that's his Master of Sanctity on bike. It's his chappie. He's up there because he needed him up there last turn to hit back against those Reavers that came in. And also next turn, I think he's going to set up a play where he gets that 6-inch consolidate and pile in, which is going to enable him to get a huge slingshot charge with the advance and charge from the Vanguard veterans. So what's going to happen? The Vanguard veterans are going to go 12 inches. They're going to roll a d6 for advance. Whether or not they get a big one or not, maybe they could realistically get a 6. Then they can declare a 2d6 charge with rerolls from big Black Templars possibly go maybe another 7 inches. Let's say, give or take, cut the losses, 3-inch advance, 7-inch charge, 22 inches with a +2 to charge, so 24 inches, a 24-inch movement, and then a 6-inch pile to consolidate might just be enough to get really close into those reapers. I'm not quite sure if 24 inches will make it, but he could definitely use that +2 to charge to get a huge leapfrog, and the pile to consolidate to get a huge leapfrog move from that raider right in front of him and get so deep into his opponent's lines that those reapers have no choice but to run away.
Yeah, 100%. So we are seeing a bit of a commanding lead by Luke. He is starting to grind down a lot of these vehicles and units from Gabe's army. So he's also starting to run out of resources. We did see this against against Liam previously in one of the other games. So, and Gabe was still able to use the minimal units that he had to great effect. So just looking on the left-hand side now, we are seeing a bunch of movements from these Redemptors. The first one that was already out has come out onto that objective. We've seen a bit of a measurements coming on from the one tucked into the terrain there. So I'm wondering to see whether Luke's going to bring that out or not. I don't think he either. I think he's basically just using that to protect his deployment sort of zone from any kind of shenanigans to get engaged on all fronts that Gabe has.
Yeah, spot on there with your call, mate. As you can see, so in the forest towards the bottom of the board, there is a venom down there. That's probably what was going to be getting Gabe his 3 points on engage. That Redemptor in that ruin that hasn't moved, I'm assuming it has touched the wall and is going to be able to see through and just pick up that venom. The Redemptor that came out onto the objective, of course, is going to be shooting for that Raider and then putting the rest of its Fragstorm fire and Onslaught fire into the Scourges. Funny thing is about the Icarus rocket pod, it still has +1 to hit against things that fly, not aircraft. So it's going to be hitting those Scourges on 2s, wounding them on 2s. So yeah, he's going to pretty much pick those up really easily. This is Lukey's turn 3, and he went first. So they're going a little bit slow, but with an hour left, things will speed up dramatically from here. He's looking to see where he's going to be chucking down his 4-man unit of Plasma Inceptors. I would be really interested to see if there isn't some place to chuck them down to get shots onto these Reapers. There might be a spot to the right, depending on how well he's zoned off with what looks to be a unit of 5 racks above that right-hand bottom corner objective, or even directly behind the Reapers. There might be a spot there as well. I hope he hasn't forgotten.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In the very backhand corner of the table, that would be a nice little sweet spot for him to drop down.
He's rolling dice now. I hope he hasn't forgotten to put those Inceptors down, because he picked them up and put 1 on the table, but it doesn't look like he's put any others, unless he already had them on the table and there's only 1 left, which is also a possibility.
Yeah, definitely could be the case there.
I've just
either of those are options.
I've just hit transition on this, mate. So in a couple of moments, we'll have the Matt Morrisoli and Mr. Condi game coming up, the Nids versus Chaos. Yeah, please hit us up with that scoreboard as soon as it comes up, mate.
Okay, no worries. Well, we have had a big swing there, a lot of changes there, so hold on to your boots, people. Matt Morrisoli, he has gone up to match the primary with Shane, so they are sitting at 25 apiece. Vital Ground is on 7, Engage on All Fronts is on 11, and Grind 'em Down is 9, for a total of 52 points for Sully there. Shane Gondi, the hero, the champion of the people, running Tyranids, one of the least powered codexes we have, all the way to the top tables. He's sitting on 25 for primary. Engage on All Fronts, he has 2 points. Vital Grounds, he is on 4, and we are yet to see him enter his deploy scramblers, but we do know that that little sneaky Lictor that's been sitting on top of that rooftop spying over the edge has a good possibility that he has actually got those 10 points. So he is currently on 31, possibly 41, so he's still sitting 11 points behind if he has deployed scramblers.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a problem here for him. It looks like Matt has charged the Barbed Hero Jewel, and we're in the assault phase for him. The Barbed Hero Jewel is unlikely to go down in 1 round of combat from the Terminators, but who knows how many wounds he actually has left. It could be likely that he only has a handful. I will point out that the unit of Beasts on the right-hand side towards the bottom has been dwindled down to only 1 left sitting on that objective. That's a pretty big problem. I'm assuming that is double shooting Hiveguard or Biovores doing all that damage. The unit of Terminators that was on the bottom left has either been picked up or has transitioned and made it through onto that bottom left ruin. If they are on the bottom left ruin inside that terrain piece, that's a really bad time. That means the Biovores and the Hiveguard that were hiding down there have been picked up, have been sorted out. We just saw some wounds being put on the Lord of Change. It looks like he's got either 5 left or has taken 5. Either way, that's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not greatest either. Looks like the Exocrine has just piled in. So that would have been the Exo Queen's attacks into the keeper, and then he's just done his consolidate to get himself onto the objective. Looks like the Exo has taken a couple of wounds there as well. Whether he's got a couple left or not, who knows. There's 2 dice sitting to the left of the Barbed Hero Jewel. I would love to know how many wounds that guy has left. As soon as the Barbed Hero goes down, the alpha units, the units that will be contesting and holding objectives for Gabe, and his ability to stop Morosoli from bullying him will kind of be gone. It's pretty important that this hero duel stays alive. Look, you can see just to the left of those, that coming out of the block party, Nick, 3 Ripper Swarms.
I was about to mention you haven't actually got to the most important piece of information that we need to keep track of here today.
That was the block party.
100%.
That's what we're going to rename the last 2 stream games. Block Party Episode 7. Episode 8. Pretty good. George just said, here's a fun fact for you, Adam. And Nick, Liam has only dropped 39 points for the event.
That is true.
He's next. I'm gonna put a petition up next time if Liam plays WTC for Australia again, that on the back of his shirt is called Least Chill. Like, just the least chill. Least chill guy you're ever going to meet. He's quite a chill man. He's quite a calm dude at the table. He can get a bit tense and things on top table games, as pretty much everybody can. But, man, he has no ability to hold back. He has no ability to hold back, does he? Just not in his makeup. Not part of
100%.
His stuff. We have seen Matt. So it looks like we're going into the bottom of, so the top of Matt's probably turn 4 or turn 5. What's the scores have changed dramatically, and Matt has a commanding lead. But you want to reel those off for us, mate?
Yeah, I definitely do. We've seen currently Matt Morosoli was only on 11-point lead, but that is if the Deploy Scramblers had been taken into effect, which it hasn't currently. But what we have here right in front of us, live in front of our eyes, coming through is from the BCP app. We have 40 for the primary. We have 10 for Vital Ground. We have 11 on Engage for all fronts. Grind them down. We are sitting on 12. That is bringing Matt Morosoli, the number 1 ranked player coming in this tournament, currently on at 73 points. So that is with his turn. So he is 1 turn ahead. So he has had an extra turn scoring those primary points than what Shane has had. Shane Condi, the Tyranid exponent, he has got 25 for primary. He is on 4 for Engage in all fronts, 4 for Vital Grounds. And as you mentioned earlier, 0 for Deploy Scramblers. But we are both under the opinion that he has got Deploy Scramblers there.
Yeah, so I'm actually questioning whether he got Deploy Scramblers into No Man's Land. He definitely
No Man's Land would be the only one that we would be uncertain of.
Yeah, and with the way the Lictor is moved currently, you're pretty certain that he's probably going to make a No Man's Land next turn and get those Scramblers, if he hasn't already, and they just haven't chalked it up.
It.
We did see the Extra Queen get picked up by the Lord of Change. Well done to him. And now we have seen what looks to be the Terminators doing their investment of attacks into the Barbed Hero Jewel. Yeah, will he survive another round? I'm unsure. Winning on 5s or possibly 4s with Veterans of the Long War with the rerolls, and then him having his 5+, taking him to his 5+ invulnerable save. Unless is it the Barb that has a 2+ armor, or is it the Scythe that has a 2+ armor, or is it both? Either way, these at best are going to be 4+. And man, oh man, is this guy going to drop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Looks like 7 or 8. I think he's not quite cooked. Nah, he's still there, guys. Still there. Our barbed
movement.
Yeah, our barbed hero still exists. Yeah, like look. This game is kind of cooked, unfortunately. Engage in all fronts. Liam is going to get another 3 points there. He's going to grind them down. He killed the Exocrine. I doubt he's going to lose a unit this turn, unless the Barbed Hero Duel just goes absolutely mental. It only has 4 attacks though, so only possibly killing 4 termies. Maybe with the double shooting Biovores or the Hive Guard, he kills the Lock or that last beast, and he evens up so he doesn't get another point on grind them down for the Killmore. But man, Vital Ground's going to rack up some more points for him, at least another point for his last turn, because I'm thinking this is turn 4. It could be turn 5 though, just based on the 40 points on the primary.
Definitely could be, but having said that, we are looking at pretty much close to it's definitely an 80+ game here from Matt Morosoli once we round it all out. We are looking at maybe even a 90 game. So just on Shane's list, so I think the bottom left-hand corner, I would say that's where those Hive Guard are.
Yeah, they've got to be.
It looks as if they seem to be doing the majority of the damage for him. So that could be why that Lord of Change is sort of headed in towards there. Maybe you can get around the back of the building and deal with some of those Hive Guards. So Hive Guard doing a bit of work for the old Tyranids there. That is good to see.
Absolutely right. They've probably been his that and the Barbed
Oh
Hero
man,
definitely been his best units. He's advancing the Rippers up. Does he charge the Rippers onto the objective
man,
to deny and keep
he's
Matt on
taken
a?
them away from. He's taken them away from the balcony party there.
It can never be a
It's
good.
just against stream rules.
It is. It is. It can
Oh
never
no,
be
he's
a good
spaced in the back.
choice.
We've got one close enough. We'll allow that.
Yeah, I'll
So
live with
just looking at the chat there, Joshua Diffie, the stats man himself, the Omnisire, he's had the boys are having a bit of a chat there about how many points Liam has actually dropped. So for a total of 900 points available to Liam over the games that he's played so far, which also includes Masters. He got 258 points in the Masters, so he's lost less points in these 6 games compared to the 3 in Masters, which he actually won.
That's ridiculous.
So Liam has been a machine all weekend.
We just had
we're seeing a handshake there.
Just saw a handshake, guys. That means that was the bottom of turn 5. We're just in the primary scoring for his opponent. I guess that all he was doing is moving a Lictor to get in the bottom right-hand corner. He moved out what looks to be I think that's I'm not actually sure what it is back there. It could be a Biver or a Hive Guard onto the bottom left-hand objective, and he's got the Rippers on in the top left.
That is there.
So I think he's got himself a 40 to a 50. Yeah, he's got himself a 10-point there. So that would be 1, 2... Yeah, 1, 2, 3 to 1, 2, 3, and the Rippers denying the Terminators would give him 15. So whether that brings him to 45, I'm not too sure. But yeah, definitely not the worst finish for Mr. Condi. Of course, he hasn't won this game. There's no way he's pulling out another 26 points to bridge this gap. But I think what they're doing right now is they're...
that's it. We're still seeing a couple of...
Yeah, a couple of dice rolls. What could this be?
Well, the only really thing I can see is that deploy scramblers. So whether or not he's seeing to see whether something could stop that Lictor, or maybe you mentioned.
You know what he's doing?
What's that?
So he's shooting that last beast on the bottom right hand objective. Because if he kills that one off, he gets 5 more points pretty much, and that one's already wounded. That would be most likely thing, right?
I would imagine so, and we have seen a fist bump, and you're correct there. So that's been moved from the table there.
Yeah, it got removed. That is a 15.
Obviously he did not get destroy scramblers there.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he adds it on at the end here. So we're going to see 5 more points added on there. So he could be on 65, with another 2 points coming from engage, 75, 85. No more Vitagram, so he's going to be left on. So yeah, 60. And then he could go to 70, another 2 for engage. Yeah, 72. We've got 86 for Mr. Matt Morrisol. You were right, very close to a 90-point win there. Phenomenal game, another phenomenal game. And in saying that, let's transition us back to the only table. This has happened to us for all day today. We've got one game that finishes super early with 0 chill. Remember, we started today with the Knights and Custos that went all of 45 minutes.
I do remember that game.
Oh man, 45 minutes. Then we had one game that finished around the hour and 50 minutes, 2 hour mark. I know I have one that goes the entire distance. I expect this game to go the distance. As we can see, we did just see the deployment from the Inceptors. They did just drop down. The scores haven't changed again, 15 to 31. That's where we left off, right?
Yep, 100%. That is what the scores have been for a while there. Maybe an hour.
Yeah, where can you see? So the Vanguard veterans, they did jump out. Where did they end up?
So it seems like they have gone. Are they the unit that have gone to the left there, or are they still? It's very difficult. I'll just make my screen a bit bigger. I'm going to zoom in and have a look at this. It looks like that they may be still in the center of the table there. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's a unit of 4 Vanguard.
That unit of 4?
Yeah, they're still locked up. The one that was behind with the Master of Sanctity, that one has jumped forward and has ended up on that middle left-hand corner objective right below that Raider.
So we're not seeing much of a play here from Lukey to actually go after these Raiders to get some of these Wowie standpoints. Is that something you may have seen from the Vanguard vets in that earlier, or
no? He would have had a really big charge to get there last turn. I'm interested. Well, the thing is, that's kind of scratching my head about is the Terminators haven't moved up to dive into that middle scrum. I would have thought he would have wanted to put the Terminators in there, maybe absorb some fire from the Reapers after he clears those out. Keep the unit of 10 Vanguard vets safe from any and all possible repercussions, but maybe he has an even more dastardly move in mind, and what he's going to do, he's going to, so seeing as those Vanguard vets are still in combat with those racks, the ones on the left, he's going to put one Vanguard veteran into the top, he's going to attack with one, and he's going to charge the Terminators through it, and attack with one of them as well, and then he's going to stop them from falling back once again, and he's going to have 2 units of Vanguard vets and a unit of Terminators all pivoting and all locked up with his racks, and From there, the game might be as cooked as a chook for Gabe, unfortunately, and with him unable to make many inroads into this table.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've found Luke's been able to hold strong, hasn't he? He's been able to hold that center table, even though he's been on the other side of the bridge, really, and he's been able to just keep racking up points continuously.
It's the power of the bridge, man. That bridge gives you all the power, dude. For an aggressive army, being able to. So we had a chat with, like I said, I think we chatted about it in the first round. I had a chat with a bunch of the players here, and they're mostly of the opinion that these line of sight blocking pieces of terrain in the middle of the board have too big a footprint. Like, I don't think you should ever have a single terrain piece that you can hide an entire 2,000 point army behind. And that's exactly some of the things we've seen happen on this. Remember the Custodes game versus the White Scars with the Predator Annihilator? The entire Custodes army went up, staged 1 inch off the terrain piece, and then next turn flooded the White Scars and ended the game in a single fell swoop. I'm not sure we want to see that happen very often, do we?
No, we definitely don't. And sorry to leave you from the lurch here for a sec, Adam, but I'm just going to have to bow out quietly for a couple of minutes and join you back in a minute.
No stresses at all, my man. That looks like we've got some Plasma Inceptors investing their firepower into the Venom that's sitting in the forest. Between them, and the Redemptors, I expect that Venom to be picked up pretty well. Whether there's anything inside that Venom, we'll have to wait and see. It could be that those 5 racks on the right on the right-hand side of the table at the bottom were from that Venom. They did get dropped off, then the Venom scooted off to go and get some engage points. But from here, I expect that Raider to be dead. I expect the Scourges to be dead. I expect that Venom to be dead. And the Venom at the top, whether that gets charged by the Master of Sanctity or not, maybe not.
Sorry to leave you in the lurch there, Adam.
Not a problem at all. I think that's pretty much about what I expect to happen this turn. But yeah, if that do you think that big dog pile in the middle and stopping the fallback again is likely?
Yeah, I'd say that he has to there. I don't think he has much other choices there. The Inceptors, I'm very interested to see what they do. Those Scourges have been sitting there for a long time, or do you think that maybe that is a second unit that has actually replaced the initial unit?
No, they've only been sitting there for one. It's actually, these guys actually are taking a fair bit of time. It's been a bit of time between drinks for these two, so I think they do need to get a bit of a motor on, because I think this is still the top of turn 3 for Luke, because we need to see the Inceptors come down. Yeah, so it needs to get a bit on their bike.
Yeah, that is true.
50 minutes left. Definitely need to get a motor on and get going here. But yeah, like I said, things should accelerate from here quite quickly.
Especially, Gabe's going to be able to play much faster because he is definitely running out of units.
Unfortunately, he is. He's got the worst of it. But dude, his ability to keep these Reapers safe is actually quite impressive. I wonder if he's taken While We Stand in every single game. And if he has, I'm going to ask him, has he actually lost any of them yet? Because, that's pretty much his modus operandi every game. Is like, play the primary and keep the Reapers shooting. If I get those two things done, I'll win more than I lose. And I think he's not wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Being as far behind on the primary as he is, I'm surprised he's just not moving some of his units. So that objective there on the right-hand side next to the ruin, unoccupied. That objective on the bottom right-hand side, completely unoccupied. He's got one unit sitting on the right-hand side, just on the end of the bridge there. That's got a unit sitting on top of it, but he needs to be able to hold 2 units to get 5. So I'm surprised he isn't just sitting those. He could make very small 4 to 6 inch movements and be sitting on those objectives and racking up some primaries. So it'd be very interesting to know why he's not actually just doing that.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like he's playing a bit too. Maybe he's playing a bit too much to deny his opponent's primary, and maybe that's, like I said, it can bleed out armies like his, which have high mobility but low durability. He definitely has the OBSEC advantage here, but he doesn't have the durability advantage here. Doesn't have the damage advantage here. There's so many things that are going against him, especially investing so many points heavily into the damage to Venoms, which admittedly are very good. But the issue is here, pretty much everything they're shooting into has a 2+ save. So they just don't do enough. So Diffie has asked, maybe it's a possibility that we switch the tables during the rounds, the next round. Pretty much just shake it up, get the TOs to take some of the terrain off these tables, switch it up, maybe get some L's in the middle instead, and maybe just have a shake up. I will mention that to them, but that is absolutely 100% up to them. That is not up to us. So we'll see. We'll see if they're up for it. If they are, hopefully they are. Hopefully they're amicable, and we'll see a bit of a shake-up for the last 2 games. But if not, it is what it is, guys. They've obviously put these at the top tables for a reason, and I will say that these are some of the best constructed tables we have at the event. But mostly, it's not much different quality. They're pretty much all like this. It's very impressive the amount of terrain that they have available to them. And I will tell you right now, they've made it all for this event. They've gone from having like 0 terrain to like 80 tables worth of terrain just for this event. So yeah, kudos to them. They've done a great job.
Yeah, that's right, man. So while we're covering this game and we are looking at Luke Pearce, he is actually one of the normal blokes. So why don't we have a quick spiel on Luke and where he is from and what the Normal Blokes podcast is all about, Adam?
Yeah, do you want to do that? Or you want me to get it?
Yeah, no worries. Either one, man. It's up to you.
Nah, you got it, man. Or you. In fact,
all right, man.
I'm going to use
the Normal Blokes is a. Yeah, you bow out, man. I know what's going on. You bow out. All right. So the Normal Blokes is a 40K based podcast in Brisbane, dedicated to improving the competitive 40K experience. We talk local events. They talk meta, list building, tactics, and hobby. The hosts are Luke, who we are watching on stream right now, Denise, Jordan, and Liam. So I know currently at one point during the day, going into round 5. But all Luke, Jordan, and Liam were all currently in the top 10. Jordan is an avid Blood Angel player. I've followed him a fair bit over the years. One of the good dudes of the gaming scene. As Liam, we all know, is one of the better guys playing around in the tournament. Currently, very, very few points have been dropped by him. All right, so let's have a look at the chat before we go back into the game. So Tech Priest, the engineer in me, wants an overhead rail system for the cameras to move them around, but it really isn't, probably just easier to move the tables themselves. Yes, mate, that is probably a bit too advanced for us currently. Probably something that we're working on in the future. So having a look at this game here, the Redempted Dreadnoughts that Luke had positioned in the terrain on the left-hand side, they are slowly starting to creep out, which is good to see. Also, Steppenwolf has added he is a Normal Blokes player. Shout out to Steppenwolf, mother mate, good on you. So the Redemptor that we've got here, that's actually coming out to see a bit of a play. I'll be interesting to know what turn this is, because they're making a very, very late play here. And again, Gabe not sitting on any of the primaries, which I'm finding a bit mind blowing there. Currently, Luke is sitting on the one on the top left hand side in the ruin. He also has that second unit of Vanguard veterans on the terrain, that on the objective on the left middle there, on the upper middle, sitting near what is that crater on the end of the bridge. He has a lot of his units. He has that 4-man Vanguard unit still tied up into those racks there on the center of the table. So it's still a bit hodgepodge, a bit squished up, and a bit contested there. Adam, you are back?
I am back, my man. I'm exactly seeing what I thought we were going to see. The Vanguard veterans are making an investment into those racks into the middle of the table. Whether he goes to kill them or not, I will be interested to see. I assume he won't go to kill them. He'll just tag them. He'll put one guy there, and he'll... Oh, no, looks like he's putting 2 in combat, 3 in combat. He's going to kill him. Never mind me. Yeah, he'll put the chainswords, because he's got chainswords and power fists on that unit, doesn't he? Let me just have a quick little double check. I don't want to speak out of turn, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a chainswords and a power fist unit. And if it is, I think the chainswords, of course, he's going to position pretty specifically to make sure he gets the power fist into the raider, and the chainswords going into the others. Yeah, I start his chainswords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and 4 power fists. So the power fists are going to be going into the radar. The 5 guys will be going into the racks. He should be able to pick up both pretty reliably, and then maybe with his consolidate and piling, he hits the other unit that's in front of those Vanguard vets, and he does what I said and denies that fallback. And then, yeah, things look pretty rough, man. It's such a bullying army, just denying that fallback, denying all those premium strategies that you would use to get out of the bad positions. It's crazy. Tech Priest, the engineer.
Yeah, as you mentioned previously. Yeah, you go ahead, man.
No, dude, you go.
No, you go. I want to hear what you say about this comment here. So let's get your opinion on this.
Tech Priest _ the engineer in me wants an overhead rail system for the cameras to move them around, but in reality, it's probably just easier to move the tables themselves. So one of the things we came up with at LVO, yeah, we wanted to use drones. We were able to get ourselves one drone and get it to fly all the way through the Bally's main hall. That was for the Ocho, if you were paying attention to that stream. Yeah, so something like that would be cool. If we could just have like 3 drones flying around the place, we'd have to have like full-time drone controllers, or drone commanders, either suit commanders, etc., etc. And yeah, that would be really, really cool if we could get that done. And then we could just fly around to the tables we wanted to see, jump in, we would be sitting pretty high above the tables and just zoom in from there onto the things we wanted to see. It's actually not crazy out of the realms of possibility.
Yeah, well, I might be speaking a bit out of turn here, but gimbals is something that we're working on, isn't it, Adam? We've been having a bit of a discussion about having a bit of roaming cameras and whatnot. So stick with us, Tech Priest. We will be getting some updates. We will be continuing to do the best that we can to give the best coverage to all 40K games in Australia, not just Queensland. Sorry there.
Yeah, absolutely right. Look, I'm a diehard. I'm an absolute diehard streamer lover. I love me some streaming. I love streaming games. I love calling games. I love everything to do with this community. Any way I can support it. Hopefully, the best way I can do right now is to create a great podcast for you guys, and in addition, stream the highest quality games with the highest quality commentary. And of course, couldn't do that with it yourself, Nick. Just a quick call of this game though. Those 5 racks that were at the top of that little scrum have been picked up. I would like to notice that the Raider is not dead, so maybe things didn't go as planned there. There it goes, just got picked up. Never mind
is
me.
Is that the one that just got picked up?
That's correct, my man.
Perfect timing there, Adam. Perfect timing.
Absolutely magnificent timing. I think we've got a bit of buffering. Are you buffering? Are you buffering as well, mate, or is it just me? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I think there was, but I think we're back on now. So in the chat there, just while the buff does continue, Anthony Edwards has asked, how has the... Yeah, I think it's just you, Adam. I'm getting no buffering on this end.
Fly off, mate.
So Anthony Edwards has asked us how the games have been today, mate. We have seen currently 9 top-level games. We have seen all different types of games as well. We started off the day with a bit of a bloodbath between the Custodes and some Chaos Knights. So that was an amazing game. We've also seen some of the pinnacle of Australian gaming. We've seen Liam, the Mad Dog Hackett, up against Matt Morrisoli. Matt Morrisoli in a tight game. He's pipped it, and he's taken the number 1 position off the Australian master, Liam Hackett. And now we're seeing the end of what is actually Table 3, Gabe Dello versus Luke Pearce. And Luke Pearce is actually just slowly pinching ahead. I believe he was coming in 6th currently at the tournament, and Gabe was sitting in 5th. So Luke will be looking to leapfrog Gabe here into a higher position on the standings. How you going there, Adam?
I think I'm back. I think I'm good. But no need to interrupt. You're doing a magnificent job. The interesting thing to note is that it doesn't look like that Vanguard Veteran Squad has made it into combat with the unit in front of them, be they witches or racks. So it looks like they'll just be locked in combat with the smaller unit. And yeah, we'll be denying fallbacks there if possible. Now... Man,
do you think that Terminator unit, we haven't seen much movement from them, but do you think they're just sitting there to get oaths at the moment?
Yeah, it could be very possible. It's really interesting to see they haven't been used it much. I thought they would be dogpiling into that combat if at all possible and just smashing it wide open. But man, like from this position, Luke Pearce is looking in a pretty commanding spot. And we just look at the power he has in the middle of the board. Within 12 inches of the middle of the board, he's got a biker captain. He's got 3 plasma inceptors, full untouched unit of Termies, 2 units of Vanguard veterans with a swathe of imposing melee prowess. This is looking a bit yuck, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. If you are backing Gabe Dello and his Jakari, that is looking a bit yuck. But if you're on the side of Luke Pearce, the Normal Blokes, and these Black Templars, then you are loving what you are seeing here.
While I bleed white and black and sometimes red if I'm playing my Dark Angels, I 100% bleed and long for just good top table 40k. And so I never want to see anyone get crushed. The more crazy ass games and wonky things, incredible plays that are pulled off to bring things back from the brink, the better. And I think that is something we have seen from Gabe. He's definitely a man who has the ability to make some very top level plays. He doesn't have a swathe of resources left. From what I can tell, he's got 1 Raider, probably full of guys. Looks like next to that Raider on the right hand side, he's got a few either solo racks or witches. Then above to that, he has his 3 Reapers that are doing all the heavy lifting for him, and my god, do they heavy lift. Down below the Reapers, Reapers on the right hand side, he's got a unit of 5 racks on that bottom right hand objective. It looks like there might be something. Remember when I said there was quite likely that there was a Reaper Lieutenant on that bottom right hand objective? That the only way we could foresee Luke having gotten a 10 or a 15 on the primary. Look who's down there, man. It's a single model. Literally, it's got to be him.
It's got to be, man. I kept waiting for a gap in the pause in the words per minute there, so to see whether or not what unit that was. But you called it, man. 100% that would be the Rivet of the Tent. That is what is keeping Luke ahead on the primary there. Well, actually, if you look on the left-hand side of if you look on the left-hand side, are they dead Inceptors next to that Redemptor, or is that a separate unit? I think
that's the one dead Inceptor from the 4-man for sure. Yeah, because he only got 4 in this list.
Yep. 4 or 5, I believe you had the list, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it was only a single unit of 4. So Tech Priest _ to be fair, you guys have one of the best, if not the best, coverage I've seen so far. The energy is awesome and the cameras are nice. Dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is what we are striving for. We are striving to give you the best possible coverage. You got any ideas of what are some cool stuff that you've always wanted to do that we can look forward to in the future? Is like a cool innovation that you might be working on that we can let the people know of?
Are you talking to me or are you talking to Tech Priest?
No, I'm talking to you, man. Like, what are some of the things? I have some really big dreams of where we can go with streaming and what we can do. But what are some that you've got? Because I'm assuming you're like me and you've got a burning passion for this. Well, I know you do. So where do you think we can go with this? What are some of the other cool innovations we can do? Obviously, streaming 3 tables, high quality, and all the things we've got going now are fantastic. But man, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, 100%. So some of the things I would like to see are currently improved. I think even if it was just something, just knowing what turns are on, I'd say I'll probably have a chat to Diffie if we can find any way of letting us know. It seems to be right now one of the setbacks that we have is knowing what term we're on. So I'd like to see some kind of counter up to see what term we're on. I'd like to see going a bit more advanced than that. Obviously, we'd like to see a bit more of a roaming camera. So we'd like to have a bit more interviews going on mid-tournament, which we've done previously in the past. We don't have that set up currently, but we'd like to see a bit more interviews going on so we can talk to some guys and see why they're making the decisions that they're doing. Like right now, having a chat to Gabe, like you've mentioned, finding out why he's doing while we stand, we fight, and that'd be great to bring that to the people. Some extra opinions there.
Yeah, it is. There's a bit of a fine line that I think I've talked about with Diffie, and I possibly talked about with yourself at some point. Where's the line where we have too much interaction with the players rather than just calling the game? I mean, like after a sports game, you get your star quarterback on, you get your star center in basketball, football, whatever. You get him on for an interview. No biggie, no fuss. But man, I would love to be able to stick a mic in someone's face mid-game and be like, "How you feeling, Gabe?" But you wouldn't want to do it because you could just be like, just go. You could say some awful things, and so you'd go away if he's not having a good time. I feel like that's one step too far, but I still want some kind of that. I want to have some knowledge of how the players are feeling during it. Maybe we set up maybe we set up heart monitors. Yeah, that would be fun. Like,
well, if the people go back to one of our previous calls that we've done, so you and myself called a team event up at Queensland for Gladiator Gaming with Josh McGowan. We actually had Josh McGowan doing a bit of a roaming interview, and he was able to actually creep around the table. So you and I are in different positions there. I was sitting in front of the camera, and you were sitting at home doing commentary. And we actually had Josh McGowan cruising around. He was able to give us a bit of an insight on the table. So you and I right now have no idea what is currently sitting on the blue building on the bottom left-hand side.
Yeah,
but
exactly
when we had a bit of our roaming reporter going on, he was able to talk about that itself. And just touching on that, something else that we do have going on in the future, I know Josh himself for Gladiator Gaming, he's looking at having perspex levels. So
huge.
As an example, the building on the left-hand side, which is currently blue, which is Luke occupying, talking about maybe having it that it is visible through there so that us and the viewers at home can all experience and understand what is happening inside those buildings. So that would be a big call, wouldn't it, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely right. That's one of the innovations I've been wanting for years. I've been trying to rack my brains about it. And then McGowan's like, I'll just build some like clear levels. And you'll be able to see straight down from the top. And I was like, damn, that's a great idea. Because imagine right now, if we could see all through into the bottom levels of things. We're being shown some Lynx body spray at the moment. Turns out these lads are stinky. Or maybe they're telling me I'm stinky. I felt pretty good though.
So I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat here. So Liam Howell has given us a big donation of $15 there. He is keen to bring on the gimbal. We are going to work everything we can to get that happening for you, Liam.
Yeah, if we could add a third member to the field, like another person to come along and man our gimbal, walk around, show us big, interesting plays, and be our man on the ground, that would be fantastic. Naturally, being needed to see here and call the game is a bit. And then of course change the scenes and all the other things that needed to require in front of the computer. We would need a third party, and that would be so handy to have. It'd be so cool. Dude, that Liam Howell, thank you so much for the donation as well. $15, so kind of you. Really appreciate it. If you do want us to be able to upgrade some things, yeah, donating is one way to do it. Of course, you can also sign up for the Art of War. Sign up for the Art of War down on the Patreon. There is a tier on the Art of War down on the Patreon. It's $5, or was it $5.90 in order to get the package of the 2 podcasts, and then we have an $8 tier if you want to also sling $3 or a couple of bucks my way, so I can continue to upgrade and create better and better products and better content for you to consume via things like live streaming. Hoo-wee.
That will also help provide with new hats and tank tops for Adam, so we can keep him looking super fresh for all tournaments.
I'll be wearing this. They'll bury me in this one. They'll bury me in this one. This is where it all started, guys. And we have the Ned Kelly theme has been our bad boy. I've been living in Ned Kelly country in the Ballarat area, regional Victoria, for the last couple of years. So yeah, it was really apt that me and Diffie took it as kind of our sigil from where we both started. But dudes, looks like he has denied that fallback, guys. Those racks have not fallen back, but they have in fact cleaned up that 2-man unit that was in front of them, which actually is quite impressive. I didn't think they'd be able to. In addition to that, the unit of Scourges that was on the top of that terrain piece has been picked up. That Venom, which is at the bottom, did not get killed. That is quite impressive. It looks like he's boot scooted over to Liam's primary home objective. Looks like he's going to be sitting pretty comfortably there. Interested to know what's going to happen with this one. We should have seen some update on scores from the end of turn 3 for Luke.
I'm currently messaging Luke right now to tell him to update his scores.
yeah, do it, man. He should be able to do it in pretty short order. Looks like we've got a Venom that's poked around to the bottom of the middle right-hand corner objective, and it looks like he's disgorging some of its troop. Like those could be the witches. They look like they're a little slimmer than the other ones, and of course they are a darker shade rather than the. He's got a nice pale grey for the skin on his racks, I believe. In which case, that would make sense that these are the witches. And I can definitely see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them at a minimum, possibly 10. They could be joined by the succubus as well. He could be hunting the plasma inceptors, because I don't believe there's any other good targets there. Be charging the Terminators with witches is absolute suicide. But definitely that 3-man unit of Inceptors is a very prime target. He might be using that charge to slingshot onto the bottom left-hand corner objective, right? That actually would seem like a pretty sick play to another primary.
Yeah, it definitely would be, and he needs to be able to start getting those primaries and taking them off Luke, because Luke has very subtly just been creeping up the primary points.
Yeah, indeed, mate. We've got half an hour remaining in this round, and this is the bottom of turn 3. It's very clear that we're definitely probably going to see a turn 4, but we might not see a turn 5, which could be a bit of a shame. I don't believe these players have been especially slow, but I will tell you right now that when the other 2 guys were into like the bottoms of their turn 1, these guys were still deploying. So maybe they just rocked up to the table a bit late, or some other ifs, buts, and maybes. All right.
Yeah, that's it. So we are seeing. You probably already mentioned this, Adam, but we are seeing a nice way of hiding all these raiders in the back right-hand corner there by Gabe, just to make sure he continues with those while we stand points. But there isn't much shooting left in Luke's army, is he?
Yeah, not a hell of a lot of shooting left. So Luke really only has the Redemptors and the Inceptors for his firepower, whereas Gabe has a swathe of things. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the terrain being set up the way it is and the lack of his ability to fall back, his guns really haven't been able to do what they would usually do. And it's interesting to know that Gabe has 15 points waiting in the wings, and while we stand, that I'm of the opinion are probably going to stay intact. Yeah. Do you think Luke has the ability to kill any of those Reapers now?
No, definitely not. Am I missing something? Is there some kind of haywire sitting in this list that I'm not seeing that are actually scary for those Redemptors there? Or
it would just be the Reapers. So the Reapers get D6 shots at strength 8 -4, D3 +3 damage. So they can, like each one of them can one-shot a Redemptor. It's unlikely that they do, but they can do it, which I think is what has caused him to be possibly overly cautious with them. But admittedly, he hasn't really given him anything to shoot, so maybe putting the Redemptors out would just be giving him something to shoot. So maybe he's just
100%. Just with the fists on there and the 4 damage, I do believe they got 4 damage now. Is that correct? I'd like to see them in combat. I'd like to see them wrecking.
They're minimum 4. They're D3 +3 as well. So literally, the Reapers are shooting Redemptor fists at you.
So I'd really like to see them getting a bit more action there.
Yeah, I would as well. Admittedly, I think the way he's been playing is very defensively to really neuter the ability to get huge turns of Reaper firepower. He's probably playing to his advantage at the moment.
Correct.
Looking to the left of the Masters of Master of Sanctity, the chaplain in the top left-hand corner, the Venom up there has disgorged his units of racks. I do like the positioning of the Master of Sanctity, though. There is actually no way for him to get on that objective where he will not get heroically intervened into. A pretty interesting play by Luke there. I think it's quite clever. But for the life of me, I don't understand how that guy is still alive. I think he's been shot 2 or 3 times by that Venom. It doesn't look like he's taken any damage whatsoever. But yeah, that guy is holding down that flank very nicely.
Yeah, he's pretty much been there by himself for a last couple of turns there, just living and doing what he can to just continue that primary tick over.
Exactly.
I'm yet to hear back from Luke on updating his primary, so he's obviously too in-depth in this game, doing what he can to win, but I would definitely love to see some score updates here.
Yeah. Tech Priest _ Michael Swain. I kind of like sacrificing some production value in return for having more players. There's certain value to people being able to play one day on stream if they show up. That's fair. Joshua Diffie's just chimed in and said, it's a tough call, isn't it? We made a decision some time ago to invest more in cams rather than better cams. We still have solid cameras, but they are a HD webcam rather than a remote controlled cam. Yeah, some of the other setups where you get like a joystick with your camera and you can roll around and dive in and really zoom in on stuff. This whole production, like the hat I'm wearing, the shirt, Joshua Diffie and I started with just like a couple of bucks, like rubbing them together. We didn't want to chuck in much of our own money to start this thing off, and so we just bought one cheap camera. We used one of Diffie's laptops, chucked a dongle in it, and off we went. We started streaming events. We're into our 3rd year of streaming now, and so yeah, it's grown a lot since then. And of course, the addition of Nick Standing to our commentary team has been nothing but miraculous, and now allowing Diffie a lot more time.
I am the Terry Tagalong.
No, you are not. You are possibly the Robin to my Batman, however. No, joking. No, dude, legit.
Would that make Diffie our Alfred?
Yes, it would. Actually, yeah, it would. Damn. He would say I'm the Robin to his Batman. To be honest, yeah. He's of course if all of us he would be the scientist. George, you guys are doing a great job, to be honest, and I really enjoy the commentary, which makes the game a lot easier to follow. Thank you so much, George. George, that is our job. We have a couple of different hats we wear as commentators. One of them is to protect the players from you guys and protect the players and the integrity of the game. Let the players just play it out, so we don't need to worry about what they're saying or what they may say or what interactions they may have on the table. We remove that for them, so the pressure is off them, and we also try to give you guys exactly what you want to hear, exactly what you want to say, and we really try and just do a stream of consciousness of what we are seeing and what we are reading. And of course, we do pride ourselves on being experts on the 40k and kind of list constructs and a read of the battle. But man, is there any hope for Gabe here? Can you see any path to victory, my man?
No, not really. It's pretty disappointing. He hasn't really been sitting on the primaries as much as I would have liked to. So, based on the secondaries that he's got there, I would like to say that we haven't seen some scores updated for a while. I'd like to think he's going to get to deploy scramblers. I'd like to think he's going to get there. So I have seen multiple units in No Man's Land. I've seen multiple units in his enemy's deployment zone. So I would say deploy scramblers has actually gone ahead. So that would bring him up to a 25-point game. While we stand, we fight. We know he is going to keep those raiders alive in the back right-hand side of the corner. So we're looking at 15 points there. So that is actually a 25 boost for Gabe there, sorry. So engage, and he can be my babe. So engage on all fronts. He has actually been sitting in 3 table quarters for the entirety of the game. Not the fourth. Actually, probably is the 4th, actually. So we are probably, once we do see some scores updated, hang around, people, because this is not a guaranteed win to Luke. There is a good chance that Gabe has actually scored quite well, and we just haven't seen a lot of these scores updated. Dude, I'd say these scores have not been updated from turn 1. Would you agree with that, Adam?
I 100% agree with that. I think, I think you called it correctly. I think there's a minimum of 8 points on engage we haven't seen for Gabe. Well, he's probably going to get 3 points at the end of this turn, but turn 1 he had 3. Turn 2 he had all 4, and turn 3 now he's definitely got all 4 again. Scramblers I think is getting scored this turn. If you look into the top left-hand corner of the table, you see where those racks got out of that venom. I believe that's the last scrambler getting done. I believe they'll be scrambling the deployment zone, and that'll be all good from there. I'm just getting some buffering.
That's right, man. We're seeing a bit of a model movement here. So You're right, man. I will take over. You just sit there and buff away, and I'll take over as here. So we're seeing some, I believe they are witches here coming into that remaining Inceptor unit there. So they are coming in to try and clear that off the table here. Looking at primary wise, Gabe himself, he is sitting on one in the bottom right-hand corner. So the Space Marine character we had sitting on there would now be outnumbered, and that would be in the favour of Gabe. To the left of that is another objective, and that would also be in the favour of Gabe because he has multiple Dark Elder units sitting on that. Whether or not there is something sitting in that back right-hand corner objective on the building, this could have been something there since turn one, just sitting there nice and quiet inside that ruin, barely touching the terrain and also touching that objective, but continuing to rack over some nice points there.
Yeah.
So we're actually seeing some models being removed on the top left. That Venom is now being taken off the table. So still Luke Pierce is in control of that objective, though, because that bike captain that he has there is still controlling it.
Yeah, well, you just saw that Venom get picked up, didn't you? And I think we've seen a Pioneer consolidate into the racks there by that Master of Sanctity. Whether he's going to pull those guys down this turn, next turn, or whatnot, I'm really keen to see. I just wish these boys would update the scores. God, I wish someone would poke their head in and I will just look at them and say, I don't care why you've come in, get those two to update the scores. Go, get. And then I'll do what you want when you come back. But man, I think we are getting very much half the picture here. I think
Chelsea,
Gabe...
is she around? She's been useless so far. She's been great at that so far.
She's been useless so far. Man, she's dangerous. I won't tell her that.
No, she's been great so far. Not useless. Okay, she's been great so far.
But yeah, 100%.
No, I was giving her a rap. She's been really good.
No, I'm joking. Just jizzing you, mate.
100% Diffie. Diffie's written in the chat there that Luke should know better. 100% he should, mate. He knows the drama this causes for us when we don't get the full picture here. But in the same regard, it also creates a lot of excitement here. So we don't have the scores here, so we don't know exactly what's happening. So this game could go either way, as we're both pointing out, Adam.
Look, it's Black Templars, not just Space Marines, are in a dominant position on the table. Whether or not that has translated directly into points scored, we don't know because we can't see. Definitely, he's got another 2 points for Oath at the end of the last turn, and definitely he's picked up another 1 for killing a vehicle, undeniably. So he's got another 3 points there. Engagement on fronts for Luke hasn't been as lucrative as it has for Gabe. He's probably just gotten 2, 4, 6, holding 3 objectives, so holding 3 quadrants. I don't think he's been in the 4th quadrant in the top right-hand corner at all this game. And bring it down. We have seen a swathe.
He's actually had that sneaky little Space Marine character on that object. He's actually had that Space Marine character sneaking around there.
I accounted for that. That's in the bottom right-hand corner. In the top right-hand corner.
On that bottom right there. So remember, he popped his head out for a... Yep. Oh, sorry. Yep. Would those Vanguard vets be not there right now? Or are they too close to the center, are they?
Might be too close to the center. I need to be wholly outside of the 6 inches of the middle.
I think we might find that Luke has actually snuck himself into a couple of...
I'm buffering, mate. You roll on. Don't worry about me. Go. I think I'm back, Nick.
Yeah, man. I got you. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're holding this thing down. You're holding this thing down for me in my uneventful absence.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think we might have been quiet there for a little bit.
No problems. Apologies, guys, for that. The Australian internet, it is 41 degrees in Adelaide. The Australian internet is not coping as well as we would like. It is still coping better than I thought it would, due to what's going on outside in the weather. But man, what a game. What a freaking day of games we have had. I can honestly say 2 of the games that we've seen across these have been some of the best I've been able to call. The Matt Morosoli vs Liam Hacker game, just due to the hype and the drama, because we know what happened in their first one, just added such a new dimension to the round 2. And because it was, it's 1 and 1 each, I feel like we need a rubber match of the 2 same lists playing a whole different mission against each other. So yeah, really keen to see that at some point. Did I miss anything here? Have you got any calls of the game that we missed, or anything that's gone down or changed the state of play?
I don't think so. We're still seeing Gabe holding the same primaries that he was on the left-hand side. We saw on that top left-hand side, so the bike captain there was holding that objective. The chapter master, I believe he may be, was holding that objective. We've seen a bit of a wraparound to be able to try and get one of the objectives on there, just to nullify Luke's power of continuing to creep ahead on the primary. One of the Redemptors have cruised around the building. They have both now peeked their nose out, and they're keen to get involved in a bit of the action. So I'm keen to see that happen. What else is going on here? The Terminators are still not doing much. The other bike character that we have there that is sitting on a Stormcast model, that has made a bit of a beeline across, and now we are seeing a bit of a fallback movement from the Inceptors there, from those witches. No doubt going to be shot by both of those Redemptors.
Yeah, the Master of Sanctity has stayed in combat with those racks at the top. Looks like he actually took a wound and only killed one of their number.
Yeah, so just continue on with this. We must be getting...
You keep going, brother. Don't worry about me.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. The Terminators we've got here, they haven't moved much, like you keep alluding to, Adam. So they're pretty much just sat there. So I think that is just to make sure that we're continuing to get oath moments on Luke there. So if he can just keep getting those points racking up, maybe kill a venom per turn and make sure he doubles that out, that would be very beneficial to him. That's something that Luke needs to deal with as well, because otherwise we have Gabe currently sitting on 3 objectives, and we have Luke sitting on possibly only 1 objective. So Gabe is actually just maybe creeping ahead on the primary here. Would be great to know the scores here. So while we're not getting a bit of a bigger picture, it is actually helping all the people at home. So you're going to have to hang around to the end here. This is a bit of a nail biter of this game. We will not know what's going to happen until the very final moments of this call here.
Actually adds an element of spice, doesn't it, man? Not really not knowing and just kind of trying to theory out what could possibly be happening.
It definitely does. Yeah, 100%, man. It definitely does that. So what are you thinking here, Liam's chances? So there could actually be the case that Luke has already capped out on the primary. So maybe we're looking at Luke not too concerned about capping the primary himself, but he's looking at removing what he can from the primary. So looking on the left hand side, we're seeing a charge here from Luke into that venom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to charge into the venom. It looks like he knows that there's not much time left, and he's not really caring about. He's not really caring all that much about his shooting phase. Admittedly, I do think he should try and shoot some things down here. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's shooting into those witches, going to try and pick them up, probably with the frag storm launches on his big boys. And yeah, look at that charge. He's going to be putting some fire, putting some goodness down range there. I am buffering quite a lot, mate, so I might be relying on you for the remainder of this call. Please let me know if you hear me coming through correctly right now. Am I coming through without any interruption?
Mate, 100%. You are coming through the Discord to me 100% without any issues at all. So I will continue to carry on, and then when you get a chance, Adam, feel free just to jump in, man, because the people obviously want to hear your sultry tones and make sure they get all the wisdom that they can from you. But until Adam is able to continue, I will do what I can to keep the people entertained. We're seeing a bunch of witches being removed from the table on the objective on the bottom left-hand side. That's obviously still some shooting. So that measuring and charging that I mentioned earlier is probably just a bit of a prerequisite that Luke's doing to make sure he's playing with intent there. So he's doing everything he can here. That other Redemptor on the top left-hand corner, that is actually putting some shots into those witches there, making sure they are being removed. I do not have the list on me, but I would imagine that Black Templars would be running some Assault Terminators rather than Shooty Terminators, even though myself, I believe that Shooty Terminators would be the go-to here. So we might see some Shooting Terminators if they have the ability there to shoot into those witches.
They do not, unfortunately. They are Assault in Terminators, my man. They have 3 Storm Shields and 3 sets of Twin Lightning Claws in there. So yeah, we're going to the charge phase. Looks like those Terminators are charging off the main objective. They're going to charge into that succubus, and he's going to be doing a sway the charges here. We've got the Biker Captain charging into the bottom right-hand venom. We've got going to have the Redemptor joining the Masters of Sanctity up on the top left-hand side, and yeah, that Redemptor on the left on the bottom is going to be going into that venom if he can make it. So should be seeing the racks on the left hand side, the succubus And 2 Venoms being picked up this turn. A pretty good turn by his opponent. The issue here is I think those Vanguard veterans kill those 3 racks, and then they get absolutely flabbergasted, double dunked, destroyed by the Reapers in return. But I think it's probably too little, too late. At the end of this turn, I don't expect there to be much left except for maybe 1 Raider and a smattering of racks here, there, and everywhere, apart from the 3 big bad Reapers. But what do you think is the over and under at all these assets being picked up?
Yeah, I'm seeing a big 15-point turnaround here from Luke Pearce. I'm saying, obviously, I dare say, I know it's a risky call, but I'm going to go out and risk it. I'm going to say those 6 Terminators make short work of that 1 or 2 witches that they have there. Gabe obviously agrees with me. He has picked up that unit without seeing any dice rolled, so I believe that would be an easy case. I'll be surprised if they see. I guess they will need to see the Venom. The Venom's already got some wounds taken down. But I believe that will also be removed as well. I see this could be a cleanup act from Luke here. So we're looking at his primary objectives. He is holding the bottom left-hand side now with multiple units. While he is not obsec, he definitely has the prescience of that. He has the presence there to take over that objective. Top left-hand side, we are seeing a couple of little models there. So the Redemptor on the top left-hand side is going to have to do some work there to make sure that he is holding that objective. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the one on the middle under the bridge there, is that some yellow and red model that I see just sitting on the edge of the bridge on the top left-hand side?
That's the Plasma Receptor that fell back from the Witches. He managed to jump out there, get onto that objective. He's going to be holding that one down to at least equal Gabe on the primary. So it means that Gabe doesn't get a 15-point turn. It's probably going to give it a 10er for his next one. I'm of the opinion that the Reaver Lieutenant in the bottom right-hand corner has probably been removed because the racks are existing there unmolested, and he is nowhere to be seen. So he's probably been taken care of. There's probably even a Reaper that couldn't have shot anything else, bobbed around the corner. Let me see the one at the bottom of the quadrant of 3. Probably popped around the corner and probably just one-shot that boy.
Yeah, I think you're right on there. We're seeing a bit of the this lion model that he's got here. So what did you say that was previously, the Stormcast model?
Yeah, that's a Howling Griffin's captain on bike. I actually quite like the model.
Yeah, so oh man, Ducky's done a good job painting it as well. So that Howling Griffin bike that he's got there, he's looking at getting rid of that Venom. He will not outnumber and control that objective though, so that's a bit of a setback there. Looking at the secondaries, it's not actually going to help him either.
Interesting to see where this one ends up. So we've got 12 minutes left in the round. Luke Pearce has had his top of turn 4. I'm not 100% sure whether we're going to see a turn 5. I'm of the opinion that probably, in all likelihood, Gabe plays his turn 4 and then they just call it after that. Really keen to really hope, really wish, really pray that they would update their scores. In fact, I'm probably going to be going to dinner with Luke tonight, and I'm going to give him a mouthful. Disappointing. He's probably going to win this game, but he's going to incur our ire for absolute guaranteed good times.
Yeah, 100%. So the first time I did stream, his job was to go around and put everyone's scores in for him. So he was the data entry man for me. He was going around doing the very important job of making sure I had all the scores so that you and myself could continue with our commentary. So he knows the importance. He knows the importance of adding the scores. He's been on the commentary himself. Him and Denise were here on Friday doing the Martyrs shoutcast. So yeah, he knows the importance here. Yep. But obviously he's under the pump here. He's doing everything I can. He's got his hands full trying to make sure that he is beating Gabe Dello and his Jukari.
Yeah, exactly spot on, mate. He's got more than enough to worry about without having to service us. But, you know, he's a big boy. He could do both. Yeah, well, look, we're probably just going to try and figure out what this last score is, because I'm of the opinion they probably don't have another turn left in them, unless they do a little bit of talking out just to theorize whether the scores will dramatically change. Obviously, with 10 minutes left, there is the option to play just a small turn. You don't really do much shooting. You make an agreement. You both just play your movement phases out and just see what primary scores you would get. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Admittedly, like, you see where the Vanguard veterans are? Staging behind that ruined wall. There's no real way.
Behind that bulwark there.
Yeah, there's no real way that the Reapers get away from that. They can go and they can line up on the back line, but then they're taking themselves out of opportunities for shooting to kill them. Or they sit there, they try and gun them down. If they miss their shot, he's going to probably lose 5 to 10 points on while we stand. I'm of the opinion you run away, keep the points, mate. You pretty much have lost this game. Unfortunately, I'm thinking he's lost this game. So take as many points as you can into the next round.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that we've wrong. We've called a couple of these games like this, and we were of the opinion that one person was taking away with it.
Well, especially
and we've been surprised to see the scores be punched in towards the end, and it's gone completely the other way.
Well, the Martino
so it wouldn't
one
be the first, and that's why. Yeah, continue.
The Martino one, man, that's going to be a black mark upon my soul. No, it's not really. No. We just thought Martino was in a better position than
the pair of us, we both thought it was that way.
Definitely going to get that table changed out, guys.
Definitely.
If there's no other tables that they're willing to change out, I might get that table changed out because that one is really hard to see. Unfortunately, that means we will be changing the block party out. May it live forever. But the fact is that those big terrain pieces mean that for calling the game, there was so much of the games that we're not actually able to see because the terrain pieces are so big and you can't take the lids off. So yeah, it's a bit awkward, that one. Might get that one changed out at the very least. And if not, I'll get these gents to just rearrange the terrain on these tables just to make it more interesting. So we're not just literally calling the same players playing on the same tables for another 2 games tomorrow. Hopefully that's amicable to you guys as well. Agreeable.
Yeah, that's right. So what we might actually see here too is sometimes maybe a bit different in Australia. I know the last game of the day, sometimes they just allow them to finish their last turns on the last turn. So
if you want to
be seeing something like that here.
You want to see something spicy that Luke Pearce just did. He just paid his 1 CP for devout push, and he's just used that unit to go through that wall and get on that top right-hand objective. That is one of the powers of this stratagem. It's essentially, it's a fire and fade. 1 CP, he just moved 3 inches, went from one side of that wall with 2 guys to the other side of that wall with 2 guys, and just took that objective. Just was like, nah, snatch it up, it is mine. Very, very potent, very powerful. To me, that means that Luke is currently sitting on 4 of these objectives to Gabe's 2. Very, very spicy. I've got a gentleman who's just walked into this room. I'm going to get him to walk over to Luke Pearce's table and get him to update his scores because he is letting the whole team down. Thank you, my man. That's great. Someone clip that, make it into its own thing, and so I can put it in like a birthday card and have my voice telling him that he's letting everybody down. That would be definitely something you want to give a friend. Looks like they might just be playing out turn 5, like, just in his turn, in Luke's turn.
I think that's the case.
I'm just going to do my movement phase this turn. I'm going to devout push onto this objective. Just going to give me some primary points. We'll screw up your points. All she's wrote. That is it. They're probably going to say no. Don't bother putting in the scores now because they're just going to put him in at the end. So you see, look in the top left here. That Redemptor charged 4 racks. Can you see how many racks are left there?
There is still 4 racks left there.
That's an abomination. That Redemptor needs to change his nappy and hang his head in shame. That's ridiculous.
Yes, 100%. That's very disappointing. Especially considering what the other Redemptor was able to do. It's able to pick up a Venom and throw it straight into the side of the ruin and destroy that. So
exactly right.
He hasn't quite lived up to the name of the Redemptor there.
Stood still for too long. Got tired legs. Got tired arms. Oh, it's so heavy. Do I have to, Dad? And just like 5 attacks.
Yeah, that's it.
No hits, no wounds. Did nothing. Never heard of you. See you, mate.
He needed to get on while he was in that building there. We just needed to see him a bit more on the exercise bike. Lukey's pulled him off the bench a bit too late, and he's still got those cold legs and arms like you've mentioned, and you just need to get him in there.
Okay, so we just had an update, and I think we're going to be surprised. This is going to be one of those ones where we've called it a bit wrong, because it is sitting right now as 95 to 65 Gabe's way. Apparently, he has smashed the primary, and unfortunately, just due to not being able to call the game accurately from turn to turn, we had no idea he was doing so well in the primary. We're working off the basis of he had 5 points, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd say based on opinion, you and I were both under the opinion that maybe the scores were incorrect early. Maybe they had put it in incorrectly because we were both watching Gabe rack up those primary points. So we're just going off what we've got there, and we were both of the opinion that we were unsure how Luke was getting a bit ahead there. So
apart from
again, it's without the scores, it's very difficult to understand what's going on.
Absolutely
Get the full picture.
In fact, I'd rather not have the scores if they're not going to update them and get rid of them. Because I won't rely on them. I'll just read the table. Because our first 2 or 3 turns, Gabe was all over the table. He was scoring everything. He was doing a lot of work.
He definitely was.
Yeah, and I thought by crafty use of maybe Rites of Battle and the few, the single infiltrator squad he had, he could be contesting a lot of those objectives and getting a lot of work done. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Gabe has done an incredible job on these primaries, and by the looks of things, Lukey unfortunately is going down. Great game by Gabe if that is the case, because I was thinking he was getting
100%.
I was thinking he's getting absolutely bullied and dominated by Luke. So really surprised that's the case. But yeah, what do you think, mate? This is a real big turn of events.
Well, with this game wrapped up, do we want to transition to the leaderboard and have a look at where we sit going into day 3, going to the top of the thing? So we'll be able to get some live updates from Luke and Gabe as they come in. Thank you very much to BCP and Joshua Diffie on the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah, will do, mate. I'll hit that momentarily. Just going to see what scores come in now. Right now it's 65 to 52 to Gabe. But yeah, still very much more to come in for them both. This leaderboard is going to look very exciting momentarily because we're going to have Matt Morosoli sitting dominantly at the top as he's going to be the only undefeated player? I think he is. Yeah, Matt Morosoli is the only undefeated player.
Yeah, well, Jay Hansen went down as well.
So where is he right now? These two players right now, both of them are going to be jumping up. Unfortunately, Luke Pearce is probably staying where he is outside the top 10, but Gabe will be jumping up into probably 3rd place. Admittedly, he can't really know. I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch Liam on the actual battle point score. Even Matt Morosoli, the undefeated player, is 31 points behind. But how are we seeing for the rest of it? What encapsulates our top 10?
So coming in number 2, we have Liam Hackett, like you mentioned. 3, we have Shane Condi, the Tyranny player. He's still holding his own there. Number 4, let's have a shout out there, Adam. Who have we got coming in at 4th?
Mr. Brian Lakeland from the Normal Blokes, having a great showing with his Mono Harlequins.
Yeah. So speaking of a bit of a submarine, there we haven't actually seen him in the top 10 currently, but it's been good to see. So he's slowly starting to rise to the top here, coming into the final days.
Yeah, he's starting to show his class and his faction mastery of Harlequins. If you look at his loss, the man's got an 80-point loss, for God's sake. It just shows you how well he can do in a bad situation, playing out of his skin and doing an amazing job. Yeah, we're going to be seeing probably 3rd place being overtaken by Gabe Dello, who will play up into Matt Morosoli most likely, depending if he sits above Brian or not. Because naturally, one of the things that does happen when you have players... an outright 8-round event that doesn't have any bracket system or any breakdown to a final top 10 or whatever. A lot of guys in the top 8 have played each other. Like Liam Hackett has played Jay Hansen now, and Matt Morosoli has played Liam Hackett. And when he comes up, Liam Hackett has also played what's his name? Just played Gabe. So Liam can't play Gabe. Liam can't play Jay, who's still in the top 10. Matt Morosoli can't play Liam and can't play Shane, who are both in the top 10. So it's going to be a bit of playing down, playing up, guys shuffling around and playing all over the place. I'm going to do another transition. We're going to hit another transition on this, just see if we can get a refresh on this to see where Gabe is sitting. I'll take us to table 4 for a moment. Maybe we've had the final scores updated there, and then I'll take us back to all 4. And yeah, should be able to show us a final leaderboard if, of course, these players have finished their final scores. If not, we'll see them blink up on our screen momentarily here. But man, yeah, big win by Gabe. 95-62. Did not see that coming on my read of the table, unfortunately. But man, well done to Gabe. He played that really well to get such a big score while getting what I thought was quite significantly bullied by the Space Marine player. And in truth, what did the Space Marine player actually lose, like unit-wise? The infiltrators and the Reaver Sergeant.
He didn't really lose much, did he? And that probably comes down to, again, Luke not kind of being aggressive is enough. We've seen those Redemptors just hang out in the blue building on the bottom left-hand side. Yeah, he probably should have got a bit more aggressive. Luke, he probably did it a bit too late. He was in the deployment zone using some of those Black Templar shenanigans that you were boasting about late in the game to be able to get on an objective. So it would have been good to see those Terminators being used to a bit more effect. They've literally just sat in the center of the table there. Maybe a bit more of an aggressive deep strike there. He had other units that were able to get the oaths and stuff like that. So that would have been good to see from Lukey there.
Yeah, Gabe's sitting securely in 3rd place now. 14 points behind Liam Hackett on the scoreboard, which is actually pretty significant. He's actually got more battle points than Mr. Morosoli, who's currently sitting in 1st. So our table 1 tomorrow morning will be Matt Morosoli versus Gabe. And then we'll have Liam Hackett playing down into Brian Lakeland, and then Shane Condi playing into Benjamin Reget, who we're going to call Old Benji Regrets. That is such a good name. Anyway, guys, that's the end. That's the end of day 3. Oh, sorry, day 2. Day 3 for us, but yeah, day 2 for you guys of this event. Man, any recaps you want to say for this day, this round? Anything? Any shout-outs you want to give?
No, the main thing, I guess, is just... make sure you come back tomorrow because in no way is this over. I know a lot of the US tournaments have like a win-loss bracket. But there is a good chance that the rest of this field will be chasing a loss to Solly. So he will be getting headhunted tomorrow. Everyone will be doing everything they can to ensure that Solly gets a loss so that all these other people that are also on 5 wins automatically come straight in contention. So this is still a hotly contested tournament, something that needs to be observed tomorrow. So I'll be excited to see everyone back again. Thanks for having me, Adam. Thanks for having me, Diffie. I've had a great time.
Beautiful. And on that note, we will say good night. See you guys tomorrow morning at a ripe old time. I think we're starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow. But yeah, jump on, get involved. You'll see our posts go up on Facebook about 5 minutes, 10 minutes before we start and go live. But dudes and ladies, thank you so much for our support in the chat. Thanks for those who have donated. And thank you so much for staying involved and being such a community of positive people, of which is absolute joy and pleasure to engage with. All right, good night. Peace out. Good night, Nick. Go and have a rest. Rest that lungs. Have a couple more bevies. And see you tomorrow, my brother.